Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Awesome Sunday Show. Connor here.
And Pat.
And Pat, guess who we have back again?
My friend Anthony D'Elia.
And he's my friend too. Why are you being so exclusive?
Because you talk a lot of shit.
Yeah, totally. D'Elia, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I was under the impression that I was both of your guys' friends, but I guess if Connor's been talking shit, then
Well, no, what happened was Pat feels bad because he originally was going to say, hey, I got to trade D'Elia for Zack Snyder to be a friend.
I would.
And I was like, don't worry, I'll take D'Elia. You can keep Zack Snyder, and you can keep David S. Goyer too.
We'll throw him in. We'll throw him in as a package.
Listen, Connor,
And if there's a friend draft, Pat already drafted David S. Goyer and Zack Snyder.
Connor, we know Batman vs Superman is your friend.
I proudly admitted how much I hate that movie.
The movie we're talking about today, you said Batman vs Superman was better than it.
You tweeted that, and no one believed you.
Everybody believed it.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it. I told him, and he believed it.
Oh, good. Let's keep going into how much I hate Batman vs Superman. I hate that movie. I can't even joke. I can't even be sarcastic and say, "Oh, it was a great movie." It's just so bad. That movie sucks so bad. All right, I don't want to have another podcast where we just tangent off and tell how terrible that movie is.
Although comparisons between the subject of the podcast and that film are almost inevitable.
Yeah,
just based on subject matter and release window.
Yeah.
True. I know. But you know what? This is going to be a much more positive podcast because we're going to be talking about a much more positively received movie, much more positive themes.
Yeah. You know what? And thank God this came out amazing.
Yeah.
Imagine if
God.
this would have been like a bomb like Batman vs Superman. I would have lost hope in life.
It couldn't have been. It couldn't have been worse, than Batman vs Superman. Like, even if Civil War ended up being like.
Oh yeah, by the way, we're talking about Captain America: Civil War.
Captain America: Civil War. That's what we're talking about.
Wait, I thought we were talking about Mother's Day.
The movie, yeah, it looks great.
Starring Jason Sudeikis and I think Jennifer Aniston
and Julia Roberts. Another great Gary Marshall
holiday
movie.
Yeah.
Eventually that guy's just going to make one for every holiday. He's going to have to start getting into the smaller days, too.
Maybe, hopefully he uses that Thanksgiving trailer as a springboard for his Thanksgiving movie.
There we go. Halloween by Gary Marshall.
Oh, God. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah. All right, so Captain America Civil War. We saw that in theaters. Pat, we saw it Thursday night, right?
Thursday night, yep.
And do you see Thursday night, too?
No, I saw it last night.
You saw it last night? Yeah, so pretty much all the reviews that you see coming in are accurate. It's absolutely fantastic. Last time I checked, it has a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes and has a 92% audience score, which is great.
Yeah.
It's a certified fresh rating. Some Academy Award-winning movies don't even get that high of a rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it deserves every positive review. It totally gets. And... for people complaining that Marvel movies are just for kids, there's actually some pretty adult and some pretty intelligent themes to go along with this movie. And one thing I really liked about, one thing I can just say, that's the general theme of the movie before we really dive into details. Spoilers, by the way.
This is going to be a spoiler-heavy episode.
It's very spoiler-heavy. We're going to dive deep into the movie.
If you want a spoiler-free review, watch the couch review later on today.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so... that's just a fair warning right there. But again, and we'll dive much deeper into the movie. But the theme of the movie is different philosophies and ideologies clashing together, which is Iron Man, who wants to register with the government, and be a part and have checks and balances. Where Iron Man thinks that the safest hands are still their own, and that there would be seriously
Captain America
thinks
that.
I'm sorry, Captain America thinks. That the safest hands are still their own, and that government interference can hinder them from actually doing real good. Which is the total opposite of Batman vs Superman, where they're both the same fucking people, and the pot calling the kettle black, and they just fight anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they're both... That was honestly, not to make... Again, like you said, not to make this the Batman v Superman podcast again, but The biggest difference between the two films was exactly as you put it, was the fact that Civil War had a conflict of ideologies that was rooted in character development and the things that we know about Cap and Iron Man.
Exactly.
And it is about their ideologies and the way their experiences over the previous Marvel movies have shaped their ideologies that makes this movie work. Whereas in Batman v Superman, Batman and Superman are both grimdark, depressing, loner murderers.
Yeah.
And there's literally no reason that one of them should want to fight the other one beyond like Batman being offended that Superman is killing people. Like he thinks he's the only one that should be able to kill people.
Yeah.
Like and vice versa. Like there's no comic books-esque like Superman fighting for truth, justice, and the American way, and Batman being dark and
getting down and dirty, get shit across,
right,
shit
like,
done.
There's no difference there, whereas here there was a very clearly defined difference.
Right.
Yeah, you made a good point, because we've been, since the start of the MCU, back with Iron Man 1 to now, we see every experience that shaped their feelings on this act, the Sokovia Accords.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Man, Tony Stark, was because throughout his tenure in the MCU, in particular, his 3 solo movies was about individuals who gain too much power and use it for nefarious purposes. While Captain America, across his movies, he battled evil organizations, trying to control and destroy the world.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that is a parallel that a through line that I didn't even think about on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's such a great point. Like, Iron Man has been dealing with, like, in the first movie, he had Jeff Bridges, the Ironmonger. In the second movie, he had Justin Hammer and Ivan Vanko.
Yeah, Whiplash.
Right. And then in the third movie, he had Aldrich Killian.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Cap, it was Hydra, and then Hydra again. But
Yeah.
Hydra infiltrating S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
And I thought that one of the greatest setups that they did in the movies, because obviously it's so different from the comics based on the path they took to get there,
right,
was the fact that like most general audiences might go into the movie thinking Captain America would be on the side of the government because he's Captain America. But every experience he has had up to this point has been destroying or shattering that patriotism and that sense of duty to the government and to one's country.
Right.
And ever since he has awoken in the modern era, he's had to deal with one by one every one of his illusions of like American exceptionalism and all those things being like broken down.
Yeah.
Especially in the Winter Soldier, to the point where his mistrust of authority is very well defined in his character at this point.
Yeah, it makes complete sense. I mean, even let's extend the olive branch a little more and go outside of their actual movie line and go into Avengers: Age of Ultron, where it goes going back to Iron Man as far as like his missteps and him not being able to getting checked and everything like that, as far as what becomes the creation of Ultron. So if anything, I feel like Iron Man's point is stronger because of there's just more examples.
Yeah.
Whereas Captain America really has one example, but it's enough for him to lead the other way, because every time that something like that did go out of hand, they didn't need the government to hold them back. They were just able to assemble. Avengers assemble.
Yeah.
Which has never been said.
No,
in the
they
movies.
keep like jerking us around,
I know.
waiting for it to happen.
Yeah, for real though, that was like one of my favorite moments ever at the end of like Age of Ultron when it cut out right before he said
Avengers.
I loved it. I honestly loved it. I thought it was awesome, but that's just me.
I was pissed actually.
I don't know. I just thought it was such a Joss Whedon thing to do. Not to not do it. But I don't want to get off topic too much.
The only problem I really have with that movie for Civil War is that William Hurt's in it.
Really?
Yeah, Connor hates William Hurt.
I think he's the worst actor.
Wow.
I've seen more expressions on scarecrows.
I can't even believe that. Wow. I thought I thought, I mean, I like William Hurt, and I thought he's great in the role of Secretary of State Ross now, but
I agree with that.
I thought he was great. Honestly, I mean,
He sucks.
I don't know. I mean, that's fine if that's how you feel. I'm surprised.
It's just like when he yells, his eyes don't move. Like, it's weird. Like, if you see the original Hulk movie, it's like, get down. Ah.
You can't see Connor's facial expression, but
Yeah,
he's just dead-eyed.
You'll have to make it again in the
And,
car.
like, and if that crappy, shitty movie, AI, artificial intelligence, he has like no emotion in that movie either.
Well, was he playing a robot in that movie?
No, he wasn't. He was playing. He was playing the scientist. He was supposed to give emotion to a robot.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
damn it! You're a scientist that's supposed to, manufacture emotion. You have no emotion in your character. And in that movie too, Into the Wild, which is a great movie, Vince Vaughn has more emotion than William Hurt in that movie. That's the only thing with Civil War that pissed me off, was that William Hurt was in it.
See, my biggest, I mean, I guess you want to talk about the biggest problems we had with it.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
for it. We'll start with that.
My biggest issue with the movie, the only issue I have with the movie was that they killed Crossbones.
See, I was a little disappointed with that. I expected him to be in it more.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be working for Zemo.
But
even that,
oh, sorry.
I think he died way too soon.
Yeah, I mean,
Even though his death was really important,
yeah, but
I was just bummed out.
yeah, and I thought, honestly, like, I couldn't believe that they killed him off, because even if he was just going to be in the beginning, like that first opening action scene, which again, like, I would have been fine with that. But to waste such a great actor in Frank Grillo and such a great character of Crossbones, to waste him at the beginning of the movie just to have an inciting incident was really disappointing to me. Like, I feel like there were ways they could have accomplished that story beat without having to also kill Crossbones.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, or I didn't have a problem with it. I'm used to Marvel villains not being as strong as their heroes, which I'm starting to kind of come to grips with, because the hero characters are just so strong that I don't even care that the thing with superhero movies, the problem in the past was the villains always outshine the heroes. Like, I'm finally seeing movies where the heroes are actually like the characters I care about the most. So I don't mind that the villains aren't really paid attention to that much. I agree that there could have been other ways besides killing him. But I'm glad he wasn't in the rest of the movie, because the way the story progressed, he wouldn't have serviced it that well.
Right.
But they didn't have to kill him. He could have been in future installments.
Yeah, see, like, I totally agree with that. Like, I am glad he wasn't in the rest of it, because there was enough going on.
Right.
But I just hate that they wasted, like you said, like, they don't have strong villains.
They could have killed William Hurt.
They don't have strong villains in general, but here they did have one who was great in a supporting role in Winter Soldier.
Yep.
And could have been a great villain to bring back and revisit over the course of, like, future films, and now he's gone.
Yeah.
And, like, they could have locked him up on the raft.
Yeah.
Like, they could have captured him. Like, that explosion could have happened any number of other ways.
They could have just had him set up the explosion,
Right.
instead of him being the explosion.
Right, exactly.
But I was disappointed. I'm not, like, mad about it. I was disappointed though.
It didn't hurt the movie, though.
Yeah.
No, it didn't hurt the movie, but I was disappointed because I love Frank Grillo, and I think he's a great actor, and I think that was a good character, and they could have used him in future movies, and now they can't.
Definitely. But I mean, when up until his death, he kicked so much ass.
Yeah.
He was badass. I really
Yeah, he
enjoyed
was.
like his time on screen.
Which makes it worse. Like,
I know.
that they killed him.
I know.
But no, but like you said, like, I'm disappointed, and if I had to pick one gripe with the movie, that would be the gripe. Which is saying a lot, considering I thought the rest of the movie was great.
It was a creative choice you just didn't agree with.
I just want more. I wanted more of Crossbones in future movies, not in this one. In future movies.
Yeah. He actually probably would have just been too much into the rest of the movie. Yeah. Because the majority of the movie is Cap versus Iron Man and their individual teams, and I think they handled that well, because that's the major conflict of the movie, and they made sure that was in the forefront. And then, sneaking in was Helmut Zemo, who Daniel Bruhl did a great job.
Awesome.
Daniel Bruhl is a fantastic actor in anything I've ever seen him in. And I think they use Zemo really well, because he's responsible for pretty much the Avengers going against one another. He's responsible for the Black Panther he didn't really team up with Iron Man because he's of the Sokovia Accords. He teamed up with Iron Man because it was a means to an end to accomplish his goal of killing Bucky,
Right.
who he believed killed his father. Which I really liked. First of all, Black Panther was awesome. Chadwick Boseman killed it. That
my
suit
God.
was fantastic.
Yeah.
He is going to be the new like Marvel Cinematic Universe like superstar actor.
Yeah.
I think.
I think so too.
I after that watching that movie, I think
He
there's
was
going to be two, but let's go into the second
yeah,
one
okay,
a little
okay,
bit
okay.
in a little
Yeah,
bit.
a little
Let's
later.
hold off on
Yeah,
that.
we'll start with
yeah.
Chadwick Boseman.
Who killed it?
Oh my God.
I think he did the best acting performance out of everybody in that movie, and that's with Chris Evans, who I think is a great actor after all the
Yeah.
Marvel movies. I think he was great in that movie Snowpiercer too.
Yeah. So Pearson was awesome.
Yeah, better acted movie than the actual movie itself, but that's why it was enjoyable. That's just my opinion. And then Robert Downey Jr., who, you know, like a lot of people complain, oh, he's the same person in every movie. Bullshit. Go see Sherlock Holmes in Chaplin. He's an awesome actor.
Also, his Iron Man, Tony Stark as a character has just developed so much over the course of
Yeah.
these movies.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
And,
completely different from
Completely
Iron Man
different
1.
from the beginning.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther is T'Challa.
He is T'Challa.
Yeah, he is T'Challa.
Like,
Whoever their casting director is, I'm sorry I don't know your name. I'll
They're
say,
just a genius.
yeah, seriously, you pick the best people.
There hasn't been one miscast role.
Yeah,
Even
besides William Hurt.
Okay.
That's
all
just
right, well, that's just your opinion.
yeah. All right.
even Terrence Howard, you know, he was only in Iron Man 1, but that was because of contract, you know, issues. He was still really good.
Yeah.
I just prefer Don Cheadle. I think Don Cheadle is much better, and I think Don Cheadle did a great job. But Black Panther was so badass.
Yeah,
His fight scenes, you know, against Bucky were fantastic. His suit was amazing. His arc was great, and I love the way they concluded his arc at the end.
Yeah, it was the conclusion of the arc was awesome. This just reminded me of the only other problem that I had with the movie was the way they found out that about Daniel Bruhl's plan.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time when it first happened, right? Like when they first were like, oh yeah, the room service attendant found the dead body with the mask and everything in the hotel room. I was like, that's dumb.
Yeah,
like,
that was kind of
why
just
would
like a little rushed.
No, because I was like,
thing to it,
I was like, why would he order room service and know that she's gonna find the body? But then you find out that the reason why was because he wanted Tony Stark to come to the place with to the bunker in Siberia. He wanted him there, and the only way he was going to get him there was if he convinced, because he wanted to twist the knife at the end with the reveal. And so he wanted them to reconcile at first and then twist the knife.
Mm-hmm.
But
and set him off again.
Right. So, but other than that, like, I thought that, like, it was a great fake out, and I was like, at first I was like, oh, that's dumb, but then at the end I realized.
Yeah.
So
speaking of the dead body in the shower, the bathtub, that was actually Joe Russo, one of the directors.
oh my God, I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
I see now. I definitely have to watch the movie again.
Because they did it in Winter Soldier too. But they'll like throw themselves in just like a little like stupid little cameo.
Yeah.
You know, not like M. Night Shyamalan, who makes himself an important character.
Oh
They'll just throw themselves in like
in Lady in
stupid
the Water.
situations like that. But yeah, that was Joe Russo. I just thought that was like a nice little Easter egg or whatever. But yeah, Black Panther's arc was very satisfying.
So
I
good.
think.
Yeah.
You know, at the end when he realized how wrong he was and he was trying to kill the wrong man.
Yeah.
And how he wouldn't let Zemo kill himself.
Dude, when he said the living are not done with you yet,
Yeah.
I was like,
That was
yo.
badass, and
I
then
was
choked him
like-
out.
Black Panther.
He blocks, like, at the end of the movie. For those of you who have seen it, I assume you've seen it if you're still here, considering this is spoiler filled. When Zemo takes a pistol and goes to put it under his neck to shoot himself up through the skull, and Black Panther shoves his hand in front of the barrel of the gun because he's wearing a vibranium woven suit, and and blocks.
Dude, I already cursed.
No, I
It's
know.
fine.
You can
and
curse.
blocks the bullet, and then puts him in a chokehold and says, "The living are not done with you yet." I was like, "This is my kind of hero, right?"
Yeah.
That was great. And you know what? I'm glad that he didn't kill Zemo.
No, the best
Because
thing,
I think, you know, one Marvel criticism is that they kill off their villains too early. I mean, with a couple exceptions, pretty much Loki.
yeah.
and Kingpin and stuff. But I think that was a really great choice to not kill him.
Zemo is by far the best film villain other than Loki. Like after Loki,
Yeah.
because like I'm not counting Kingpin and Kilgrave because they're TV
Yeah,
villains. Of all of the movie villains, Zemo is second only to Loki in my opinion. Like,
And Loki's awesome.
but Loki's
Yeah.
also had 3 full movies to
Right.
develop.
And like he's a character like you said Zemo, right? That's how you pronounce it? Okay.
Yeah.
Like we know a lot about him. We know about his family, and what happened in Sokovia, all that jazz, his motivations as far as like constructing this like elaborate plan to get back at the Avengers. But like there's still more we could probably find out about him. And I think that's the only reason why Loki is still like, and again, I agree with you. I still think he's the better villain because Loki still has a side of humanity to him. Like as far as when it comes like in Thor, the Dark World, when Loki's and Thor's mom gets killed. And then like he's able to actually like work with Thor to get revenge and like not just, bullshit the way or actually portray him. It was just an all elaborate ruse. So like there's more to the Loki character, but meanwhile he's still a villain. Like hopefully this villain comes back for future movies because
I hope so.
I want him to be more established.
I think
Loki
he has
was.
a film contract, which is good. Always
He's
a good sign.
He's gonna be back. He'll be back.
I really appreciated though how they made him. His goal wasn't to destroy the world or rule the world like standard, usual villains. He just wanted his personal revenge against the Avengers for Sokovia.
Yeah, that's another thing I thought was really great was that like he's the first villain that we've seen in a Marvel movie that was successful in their mission. And,
he did get exactly what he wanted.
And when you
almost, he just didn't get to kill himself. But.
Right, and when you think about it, it's like all of these villains with these world-ending, take over the universe like plots fail miserably.
Yeah.
But this one guy, no superpowers, no like army. He's one guy is able to take down the Avengers.
Yeah.
Because it's personal.
Yeah.
And that was awesome.
And he got exactly what he wanted.
Yep.
Which was great. I think that was a really good creative decision with him.
Yeah.
And I'm glad actually because Zemo in the comics is one of the heads of Hydra. So was his dad. He's also one of the leaders of Masters of Evil. I'm glad that they didn't connect him to Hydra in this.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. It was an interesting choice.
Because I just assumed, because of his comic history that, they'd put Hydra back in, especially because Hydra is still huge on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they made a big deal about doing stuff with Hydra before Civil War premiered. So I'm glad they switched it up like that. And one other thing I'm glad that he did was at the end, when they get to that base in Siberia, how he chose to kill all those other Winter Soldiers instead of using them to attack the Avengers that come.
Yeah.
I think that was a really good decision, just so that he can have, Tony, Cap, and Bucky fight.
Yeah, because it's funny too. Like that was a nice twist because like throughout the whole movie you're thinking, oh, he's gonna resurrect these other Winter Soldiers, like, and it's gonna be badass.
Yeah.
And then like I kind of realized when they got there what happened, and it didn't ruin it for me because I was still thinking in the trailer when Winter Soldier, Captain America, and Iron Man were like fighting. And then like there was that really funny meme of like the Rick and Morty X gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
That was a great meme. So I was like, I haven't seen that scene yet. So I kind of was getting a little bit of an idea of what was going on, but not exactly. It was still surprising, but like, you're right. Creatively, that was an awesome decision. As far as like they're just building up this whole thing, like these 6 Winter Soldiers, they are the badasses, and then like, nope, they're dead. But you're all gonna fight each other still.
And the scene that we got was way more badass than between
and
them
you know
and
what?
5 generic Winter Soldiers.
Exactly.
And
It had
it's
no
great
character.
because it fit the rest of the movie.
Yep.
It fit the rest of the conflict instead of
Exactly.
throwing, a monkey wrench in there.
You couldn't have said it. Yeah, it couldn't have said it any better. It was
Yeah,
like,
because I'm a genius, but
oh, now I think
yeah,
that.
no, and
You said Batman vs Superman was good.
Yeah,
No,
remember
I did.
he's best friends with Zack Snyder.
He
so
is, but-
he
yeah.
can't be that smart.
Exactly.
whatever. All right, that's not true, but anyway, you made me lose my train of thought.
If you were so smart, then maybe you would have not lost your train of thought.
You know what? Fuck you. Speaking of that final scene, that final sequence, that final fight, I said this to Anthony and Dom the other night when they were asking me about it. It's, the airport scene, which was fucking amazing. Holy shit,
the
dude.
The single greatest fight scene in the history of superhero films, and maybe even it's up there in terms of the greatest fight scenes in action movie history in general.
Oh my God, it blew me away.
Like
so many great moments, but we'll talk about that in a second. But that was the largest fight, and Connor, see if you agree with me. But the final fight between Bucky, Cap, and Tony was the biggest fight because of the personal implications and how it fits into the movie.
Like by scale, absolutely not. It's not the biggest fight, but just by reason and just by build up, it
importance.
Yeah, it made it felt like there was an actual reason. It wasn't just it wasn't a construct of ideas and ideologies and stuff like that. There was it was personal. Like if you felt it, it was. I'll never forget. You see, this could be this. It's the only example I can really go back to, but you see in high school where kids fight over a girl, but they're just beating the shit out of each other because they both really like the girl. So there's a lot of emotion in there. You just see they're just not stopping because of just of how they feel. And again, this is way more important by scale wise, but spoilers. As you know, because obviously you either don't care that you haven't seen the movie yet, or you've seen the movie and you want to hear talk about it. The Winter Soldier, Bucky, is actually responsible for killing Iron Man's mom and dad.
Which is that's been a long time fan theory now. Since
it's been a lot of people have feared that. I've thought it. It's kind of heavily implied.
It's great that they actually used it though, because it totally fits.
It makes a lot of sense, and it's did they have this idea back when Iron Man 2 was being developed?
Well, I'll tell you what, and this is insane because I was it's either been, I don't know if they planned this far ahead at that time or if they just went back and made sure they paid attention to detail. But in Iron Man 1, all the way back in 2008, at one point you see a newspaper headline about the it says Stark's killed in car crash.
Yep, I remember that.
And the date on the newspaper is December 17th, 1991. The date that in Civil War that they die, December 16th, 1991. They went back and made sure that it was the next day's newspaper from the day they were killed. So that's either way, it's commendable because it's either incredible attention to detail from a movie that came out 8 years ago, or they had it planned from the beginning, which I don't know. I'm not going to go
I think it's a little bit. I think
it's more likely attention to detail
but still,
than
it's
planning.
Great attention to detail.
Yeah, no,
it's just to make sure it fit.
Very smart.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's attention to detail, and I think it is planning. I think the success of the movies is obviously why they're still progressing. I think they probably touched upon the idea. I don't think it was conceived in Iron Man 1. There's no way. There's no way.
Because they didn't expect to do
believe
Civil War.
The screenwriter would have to come out and say, yes, we thought of this. But then I don't know. I think probably by either Winter Soldier or Iron Man 3, this idea was going around. I think that's what it's more likely. And then they fact check, they make sure they did everything right by the time the Civil War was being developed. So I think it's both.
That was a really good attention to detail.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I like how at the beginning of the movie, that's what we started with, was Bucky, crashing that car and then stealing the serum from the back. And then we go into Zemo. We see Zemo, and it made you think that Bucky killed Zemo's parents, and that's why he was going after Bucky. And because Bucky's interaction with Zemo, he's trying to get the mission report of that incident.
That night, yeah.
Yeah. So throughout the movie, up until the end, you think that that's why Zemo's after Bucky, up until that point, and I think that was a good fake out.
See, I never thought that. I just kind of was I just didn't know what his real motivations were, or what the significance of that night was, other than the fact that was when he stole the serum, or was it Kree blood? It was blue. Right? No, it was serum.
Yeah,
it was serum. But then at the end, the moment when Stark says, "I know that road," I was like, no.
Yeah.
No. No. They're doing it. They're really doing it. And then just knife in the chest.
You don't want to go down that road.
You don't want to go down that road.
You don't want to go down that road.
Yeah, I thought it was because that was my impression from. That's what I was thinking up
Yeah.
until the end, and I think that was a really, again, another really smart decision, and a good little twist on it. So let's get into some of the other things. I know obviously you hated William Ross. William Hurt. I was
Thunderbolt Ross.
combining their things.
No, yeah, like listen, it didn't hurt the movie for me.
So I guess
I am exaggerating a lot. I don't think he didn't have a big enough role for me to be like he hurt the movie. But like
pun intended.
yeah.
I guess you're not really holding a flame for the for a Thunderbolts movie then, huh?
No, and like
That'd be sweet.
I really hope like if he is Red Hulk, fine. Like I get it. You know, I mean, they did change it from Edward Norton to another actor, to Mark Ruffalo, who's a lot better. They can get a much better actor. But, yeah, that's the thing. I don't know why we're focusing on this. I just think William Hurt's a bad actor. I've never seen a movie where William Hurt's and I'm like, dude, William Hurt was great in that movie. He just was never good.
What did you think of some of the other performances?
Oh, every other performer was absolutely fantastic. I thought, what's her name? What's her face? The youngest Olsen girl, Elizabeth Olsen,
who plays Scarlet Witch Wanda.
Yeah, I think she was a much better developed character in this movie than she was in Age of Ultron.
Yes.
Although her accent is a little weak, in my opinion.
I feel like the accent was like kind of going away. In
Yeah,
this
like that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
like first of all, like not to get off topic.
Yeah.
But Chadwick Boseman's accent was perfect.
Oh yeah, he created that accent.
Yeah, perfect accent.
Which respect to that.
Yeah, so like, and it was so believable, and he never lost it. But her accent kind of.
It was definitely like a lot weaker than it was in Age of Ultron, which is good because I didn't really like the accent.
Yeah.
But it was just like, they kind of overlooked that.
Well, I think it was more of just like if I were an editor, director sitting in the room and I was listening to it, I'd be like, it's easier to understand her when her accent isn't as thick.
Mm-hmm.
And are we really like, is it really such a bad thing for us to be so accurate? We already have so much attention to detail to the story. I think it's better that the audience is able to understand her more than so that way we can get her character better.
Yeah, no, I like her as an actress.
I like her as an actress. I don't think it's her being as weak a weak actress. No. I think she was great. I think she was way better in this than she was in Age of Ultron.
Yeah, because she had more to work with. She was better developed.
I already said about Chadwick Boseman as far as he was. I think he was the best part of the movie.
One thing about Wanda I want to talk about is I like how they explored more. You know, they showed her room. She's got like a typical like angsty teenager room almost. It kind of seemed like.
And she's like our age.
Yeah, and she's like our age. It just came off like that. But I really like the dynamic between her and Vision. Mm-hmm. Throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, I mean they're setting them up for their
their comic book romance, but it was a good parallel, and you know it showed some of their differences and then some of their similarities because their powers both come from the Mind Stone, but neither of them understand it. You know, Vision himself, whose head it's in, who pretty much gave him life, he still doesn't understand it, but she still has a strong connection to it, even though it's not physically on her because it gave her powers. It kind of seemed like she still has a connection to it, like something drawing her to it. I like how she was able to manipulate it against Vision.
Yeah, like I mean that scene when Hawkeye comes to break her out of the compound and she has to like send like Vision to the core of the earth or wherever. She
increased his density, which Vision shows that he's capable of doing several times throughout the movie. And basically shot him down to like I don't even know how many miles down below the surface, but it seemed like forever. Yeah. Like he was going to come out in China or something. And speaking of Vision, how funny is it to see him wearing cardigans and like sweater vests? Yeah, that was so funny.
Yeah, but they I read online like they said, I don't know if it was the Russos or the costume designer or somebody said like the reasoning behind that was he's trying to make himself more like relatable to people, or make people
he's
like
trying
more comfortable
to
around him.
Yeah, that he's trying to feel a little more human.
Right.
But
that's how. I mean, he's Paul Bettany under there, so obviously that's how I would expect him to dress.
Yeah, a very proper British gent. And speaking of him trying to relate more, and this also applies to Wanda too. He's trying to cook for her to cheer her up. So you got a little bit of romance in there, but it's funny because he's like, I don't know how this tastes because I've never actually eaten anything, so I hope it's going to be good for you. But if it's not, sorry. That was funny. I think, speaking of Hawkeye, how much better has Hawkeye become since his first appearance?
Yeah, so much better. And Thor, it was kind of like Hawkeye. Oh god, like when I first saw him in that movie, I was like, they're gonna waste this character. I think Hawkeye's awesome, and he's not my favorite superhero or my favorite Marvel character, but like he's not one I would love to see wasted, But yeah, and then like Avengers, he was kind of like he was better, but he wasn't as strong as I would liked. And then Age of Ultron, I thought he had the best story arc in Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
A total turnaround. It was like, hey, we hear what you're saying. Here you go. And then in Civil War, he's not big in the story. In fact, he almost doesn't even really need to be in the movie. Actually, if you really think about it, like he's there and he has an important part, but they could have really gotten anybody for that role or any hero for that part, but they chose him. But since he had such a strong connection to the characters, and as far as like when they established who he was in Age of Ultron, and then like his relationship with Captain America and Black Widow, even though he technically didn't have to be a part of that movie, I was so happy to see him be a part of that movie.
Me too.
Yeah, when they said like he was retired from the hero business, and then he shows up at the compound and was like, and just like Cap called him and said, "I need your help," and I feel like I've seen online already, like, because it's already happening, like the backlash to the movie, because whenever there's something good, there has to be the people that just hate on it for no reason. They're like, well, like of all the characters, like Hawkeye just has no reason to be there. But it's like, A, he's Cap's friend and Cap called him to ask for help.
Yep.
B, if you think back to Age of Ultron, he made a promise to Quicksilver before he died, right?
Yeah, to protect his sister.
Right. And also, he's the one, and he even mentions it in the movie, he says, I made a promise. But he's the one who basically convinced Scarlet Witch to become an Avenger in that scene in Sokovia when he said, like, if you come out there and fight, you're an Avenger, and you have to be strong. And she did that. And so it makes sense that he would want to come and help her, because I feel like he feels some sort of like
obligation.
Not an obligation, but like, you know what I mean? Like he wants to
it's something
help
he
her.
has to.
Yes.
Yes. But you know what? He would have to be included anyway because he's one of the founding Avengers.
Also that.
And he's still on the Avengers at the end of Age of Ultron. So it's something he was necessary into it, because if you think about it, this was like Avengers 2.5. All the Avengers, with the exception of Hulk and Thor, are in it. So they needed to have him in it.
Right.
I think he actually needed to be in it. Even if it was for a little bit, but I think he was still important. And, it was good because you had, him and Black Widow are, longtime spies for S.H.I.E.L.D. and have worked together and have been partners and stuff. And then it was good to separate them.
Yeah.
In this, and it showed that he was one of the other Avengers that disagreed heavily with the Sokovia Accords so far as to retire. He was important. He didn't need to be in it any more than he was. I think he was in it just the right amount. He did serve a purpose, and him fighting Vision was very funny. And a very valiant effort for a guy with a crossbow. All right, just a bow, not a crossbow.
Yeah, just a regular bow and arrow.
Excuse me. Yeah, but it was great. Paul Rudd loved it.
Yeah, he was so funny.
I mean, I love Paul Rudd in anything.
Yeah.
He's just, like such a likable guy. But and his new suit is great. But I think he's shown the best, particularly at the airport scene, obviously, which we got Giant Man. Which, how great was Giant Man?
That was such a huge surprise. That was probably the biggest surprise out of the whole movie, for me, when it comes to like what I was expecting. Because we were all expecting certain things. It's how they came about is what surprised us. I had no idea that Giant Man was gonna be in there. It just was insane.
I was not expecting them to pull out Giant Man until Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, I agree.
But when he started, he was running on the steps, like the airplane steps, and he was little, And he was like, guys, I'm going to try this thing. I've only done it once in a
I
lab.
passed out.
Right? And I passed out. If I tear myself in half, right? Like,
Yeah.
and then when he slid that, he like adjusted something on his watch. He had like a
Yeah,
thing
he's
on
got
his
like a
wrist.
little control panel
Yeah, yeah.
almost.
When he slid it in the opposite direction, I was like, it's happening.
know.
And then
I'm glad that they didn't show that in the trailer. Through
Yeah.
all the like airport footage they put in, I'm
know.
glad they didn't show that.
Yeah.
Speaking of giant things, where he hands Cap that truck, he goes, "Okay, throw it at this." He throws it and it explodes. He goes, "Oh, I thought it was a water truck." And then
Or when he shrinks down and goes to mess up Iron Man's armor.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
he's
what I
in
was
there and
saying
he's
next.
like, "You're gonna need to take this to the shop." And then
Yeah.
Tony's like, "What?" He's like, "What is that?" And he's like, "I'm your conscience. We haven't spoken in a while."
It's great.
He's
And
like tearing
seeing
wires out.
Hawkman shoot him off an arrow was
That was
so
the coolest.
satisfying.
Yeah, that was awesome. And like in the trailer, I was like, oh, they gave it away in the trailer. But when you see it in the movie, there's so much more to that scene. And I was like, oh no, it's so much different like than what the trailer gave us. It was so much fun.
Yeah. And then when he's locked up in the raft and Tony's visiting after, he captures those Avengers with the exception of Cap and Bucky. And he goes, Hank Pym was right. Never trust a Stark. Who are you? Come on, man.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Peter Quill when he's
Yeah.
like, come on, man, Star-Lord,
Yeah.
Space Outlaw, blah, blah, blah.
It's funny though, because like it makes sense because like Tony has never met him,
Right.
and the other thing is though, like it appears as though Stark has been keeping tabs on enhanced individuals.
Yeah, I think he definitely obviously knows of Ant-Man. Whether he knew about him when he was younger, because when Hank Pym was doing it, but he definitely knows about him now. But it makes sense because he was keeping tabs on Spider-Man and figured out Peter was Spider-Man.
Wait, did you just say Spider-Man?
Oh, I did. Spider-Man.
Wait, is Spider-Man in this movie?
I didn't know Spider-Man was in this movie.
He's in this movie, guys.
Guys, you want to know what though? This is Spider-Man. Like we finally got
He was
Spider-Man. We
perfect.
finally
Yeah,
got Spider-Man.
Honestly, perfect.
Let's say, all right. I still think Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa / Black Panther was the best character part of the movie, but
Well, he also had a way bigger part.
Yeah.
he also had a way bigger part. Exactly. If Spider-Man was that focus, he would have easily been the best part of that movie as well.
Yeah.
And I, again, you guys are all going to agree with me. I know for a fact you two agree with me, even because I've heard you say it. But it's the best interpretation of Spider-Man.
This is by far the best interpretation of Spider-Man in any medium, not including the comic books.
Yeah.
In any non-comic book medium.
The 1990 Spider-Man animated series did a very good job.
I love that series, but this is better to me.
Yeah.
Like this is
Yeah.
exactly what I want Spider-Man to be. He's a teenager.
He looks like it.
He looks like it. Yeah, like he's not like Tobey Maguire who was like
35.
30 playing,
Or Andrew
playing a high
Garfield,
school.
30.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Andrew Garfield looks a little bit
Yeah, but
younger,
at least Andrew Garfield looked younger. But like, this is he looks the part. He is playing the character is written so perfectly. Like
Yeah.
he's just this teenager who's so excited to be a part of everything. He wants to impress Tony Stark. He keeps calling him Mr. Stark throughout the whole. He's like, "Oh, Mr. Stark, what should I do?" Like it was just so good. And then like they even got the look of the character right, like when he's crawling on the walls, like.
Yep.
And he's swinging around and doing all of his acrobatic moves and stuff. And it was just like, this is the Spider-Man we have been waiting for. Like,
So great.
So good.
Great. And, he got, he's badass. He was so snarky and goofy and just, like, making jokes the whole time. Was it Tony who said it? All right, dude, this is, like, just stop talking. We got to fight.
no, it
pretty
was
much.
Sam Wilson. When he was fighting. When he
Oh,
was
yeah.
fighting Bucky
Normally
and-
you don't talk too much in
Yeah.
a fight or something.
He's like, "Oh, right, my bad." Like, when he said, "Hey, you guys remember that really old movie, The Empire
Yeah.
Strikes Back?" I was like, "Star Wars reference."
Yeah, and everybody was like, Jesus, Tony, how old is this kid? I don't know. I didn't carbon date him. Speaking of Tony and Spider-Man, that when Tony comes to meet him, that was really funny. I enjoyed that because Peter's mind is blown. I mean, my mind would be blown too, but he's like, he can't believe it, and then he's like,
Tony's mind was blown when he see how hot his Aunt May is.
oh yeah, Aunt Hottie.
yeah, Aunt Hottie.
Marissa Tomei.
Dude, she could be 70 and she's still
Marissa-
slamming.
Marissa
can't-
Tomei.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's such an inspired casting decision to make her Aunt May.
Yeah.
Because she's a great actress and right, Academy Award winning actress, but also now that Spider-Man is young and he's the right age, like
You gotta
it
have
always
a younger Aunt May.
right, and it always made sense. It almost never made sense to me to have Aunt May and Uncle Ben be elderly because, like, I guess they're then his great aunt and uncle, right? Like they're not his real aunt and uncle.
No, they were still his real aunt and uncle, but you're right. It
Right,
didn't-
like-
in the comics, it didn't even really make that much sense either, and because Peter Parker is in the comics when they first start coming out, he's like 16, 17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
And
Here
but
he's
in the-
15.
here, yeah, exactly. And then, or in the movie, he's 15.
Yeah, 15
Yeah.
or 16. I think he's a freshman.
Yeah, he's either a freshman or sophomore in high school.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad they really went that young.
Yeah.
But even like again in the original comics, like I have reprints of some of them. They're not the original copies. If I
Yeah.
did, I would be in my own place. But yeah, Aunt May is always like old as hell. And,
Right.
Oh yeah, you look at the first 3 Spider-Man movies. She was very elderly.
Right.
Yeah, even with
Tobey
Sally
Maguire?
Field, like she was. It was a step in the right direction with her.
She was a little younger, but she's still like 60.
She looks like like an older, like an elderly person that aged well.
Yeah.
Whereas like Marissa Tomei is like, okay, she's like in her 50s.
or 40s or I don't know.
Or yeah, like
she's
late
like
40s.
I think she's like 50, 51.
Yeah,
something
but
like that.
still, so like she is the right age to be the older sibling of one of his parents.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Which is like good because it makes sense now. And she's a great actress, and I'm glad she's going to be a part of the MCU, especially like God, I'm so looking forward to Spider-Man Homecoming next year. Like now, like I can't
I know.
wait.
That is next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was
July 2017.
Yeah, my number one most anticipated Marvel movie going into this, like on the upcoming slate, was even before I saw this was Black Panther, just because I was ready for something that different.
Yeah.
But now that I've seen this, like, and Spider-Man's coming first, like, fine, I'm ready for the Spider-Man movie. Like, it's gonna be good.
Oh yeah, and I'm glad that Marvel's gonna have full creative control.
Yeah, and
or like 99% creative control.
They're just brushing off of his origins, like in the movie.
Yeah.
It was perfect. Like when he was
Yep.
like, well, he said he's had his powers for 6 months, but he was like, they kind of skirted around the with great power comes great responsibility situation.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows it. It's like Batman. Like we don't need to see Batman's origins
Right.
anymore. Everybody knows it. So it's like, he didn't even mention the spider bite. He just said, well, like a thing happened.
Yeah.
And since that thing happened to me, like he didn't really need to go into it.
I think what they're gonna do with Spider-Man: Homecoming is because there's always gonna I know it's hard to believe, but there's always gonna be someone who doesn't really know about Spider-Man.
No, yeah.
So when it comes to avoid the whole great power comes great responsibility, blah blah blah, like that whole jazz. As great as a line it is, it's kind of hard to use without sounding corny. I hope with the next one, or to dive into his origins a little bit, because isn't the rumor it's the Vulture?
That's one of the rumored villains.
Yeah,
but
so-
some things have said that Vulture will appear, but he won't be the main villain. He'll be in it a little chunk.
Okay.
Which I wish Michael Keaton had stuck around for the movie to join
Yeah.
as Vulture. He would have been so good as Vulture.
Yeah, and
Well, now they can try to get John Malkovich.
that's true.
That's true. That would be I would accept
like for the villain to use his origins against him, so that way they get a fresh a freshen up. Like, oh, okay, this is where Spider-Man's from, as far as they fight back at the lab where he got his powers, and he kind of there's some flashbacks or something like that. But I don't want a full origin
that. Yeah,
story.
no,
Don't give me a
there
full
will
origin
definitely be
story.
acknowledgement of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would like to see something like that. When it comes to Spider-Man: Homecoming, but man, Spider-Man was just so I don't get me wrong. I love the first 2 Spider-Man movies. I like Amazing Spider-Man. I don't hate Spider-Man 3 as much as everyone else does. I don't think it's a good movie.
There's a good movie in there somewhere.
There's a good movie in there somewhere. Right, exactly. And then Amazing Spider-Man 2 is just
Garbage.
Yeah, I didn't dislike it as much as you did.
I hate that movie so much.
Yeah.
I I hate Amazing Spider-Man 2 more than Batman v Superman, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I think I kind of struggle with the same idea with Spider-Man 3. I think there's a good movie in there somewhere, but it was just
There's half a good movie.
There's half a good movie in there, but the problem with the thing with Spider-Man 3 the reason why I enjoy that movie a little more was because the movie that's good in there is much more prevalent, whereas like Amazing Spider-Man 2, there's so many different cuts between different scenes that work and don't work that the good movie is like chopped up into little bits.
Yeah.
You know, it's like having your favorite cereal but with spoiled milk. You know, it just was like you're never gonna get that full good cereal taste.
Yeah.
No, it's a good way of putting it.
But yeah, Spider-Man was absolutely fantastic. I'm so excited for Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, I mean, and Tom Holland, what a find again. What a find.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
You know, Feige said they put on like a huge extensive search for this, obviously, because this was crucial.
they had to get it right.
They had to get it perfect, and boy, did they.
And Marvel, I said it after the movie too. Like Marvel did in like 30 minutes of screen time, what Sony couldn't do in 5 movies, which
pretty
was
much.
like perfectly encapsulate every aspect of of Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Totally.
Like every aspect. There was no bit of that character where I was like that didn't work or I didn't like what they did there. Like every minute that he was on screen was just so well done.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's one of, if not my favorite part of the movie. He was just so great, and I'm so glad that deal got worked out. And speaking of humor, because like of how funny he was, when one of the funniest scenes in the movie is when Agent 13 Sharon Carter brings Cap and Falcon their equipment,
Who's Bay?
and he finally kisses her, which like was heavily implied, and like Black Widow kept like saying, "Oh, you know, you should take her out," and he finally kisses her, and then Falcon and Bucky are in the seat in the car, and they're both just like giving him like an approval nod, like
With
smiling
those
at him.
smirks, and he was like, "Cut it out," you know. Like,
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh shucks," like that cat, like that cat moment, you know, like
So modest, like
some of his like modest Boy Scoutness came through.
I think that was much more than just like having like a cute funny scene or just like a total like dude moment where it's just like go like like it was a finally I think it was there when I saw that, and not only did I laugh because it was a true moment like that happens in real life, but it was like I was like, oh, Bucky's like back, like
Yeah, they're
you can
teasing
see him humanized.
They're teasing him.
Yeah, and I thought it was so cool. It was like it was way more than that, you know, and like that I think it was around that time where I was like, all right, like this movie was really good, like they totally like just killed it with that scene because like it was just that little subtle touch where I was just like, Bucky's a person again, and like now we're gonna get the feel for him, you know? Not just like be afraid of him or see what he can do.
And him and Falcon together were very funny throughout the whole movie. Like in that same scene, can you move your seat up? Nope. I hate you. And then in the airport fight, after they both get webbed down by Spider-Man, and I forget what Bucky said, but Sam's just like, "Oh my God, I hate you so much." It's funny, and there's kind of like maybe a start of a rivalry between the two to be like Cap's best friend.
Yeah, like
you know, they're like their number one. Yeah,
the new best friend and the old best friend like trying to hang out with each other.
Yeah. It's just everything about this movie was so goddamn good.
Yeah.
And I think the ending was extremely satisfying. You know, not just Zemo's arc, but Black Panther's arc, and then how Cap went back to free the Avengers from the raft, which was really funny when Ross called Tony, because earlier in the movie Tony's like, "I can't wait for you to call me so I could just hit the hold button and see it blinking."
Yeah,
and that's exactly what it did. Yeah, he goes, "Tony, it's an emergency." Okay, hold on 1 second.
He's like,
And
"No,
then
don't
just
you?"
lets it happen. Yeah. And how Cap goes, saves them, rescues them, and T'Challa's giving them asylum in Wakanda. And Cap's like, they're going to come for you. And he's like, let them try. Then they pan out. You see a little bit of Wakanda, and then that huge Black Panther statue.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that was great.
It was awesome.
And although, like, that was the plot moving end credit sequence, the second one, though, was the money one. Because that's when the one with Spider-Man and he's like nursing his black eyes and his bruises, and Aunt May comes in and She's like, what was the name of the boy that hit you? And he's like, Steve. She's like, was that like Steve Smith lives in 2C? He's like, no, you don't know this Steve. He's from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
Yeah, because you're right. When he said Steve first, I was like, oh, he's probably just making up a name, like just so
Yeah.
And then, oh wait, yeah, his name's Steve Rogers.
that was a great moment too from them when Spidey, like when Cap traps him under the
that awning or whatever
that
fell on
thing
him,
that
that
fell down.
pathway.
And he was like, where are you from? He says Queens. He's like, I'm from Brooklyn. Like,
Yeah, he's like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a nice little moment.
And I just I respect Bucky's decision at the end to go under, to get back into the whatever it's called, cryostasis.
Cryogenic freezing.
Yeah. Because he doesn't trust himself and he wants to, wake up when they need him or when he gets fixed, because we saw Zemo manipulate him using those, the activation code or whatever.
Remember, Sebastian Stan still has 6 movies left in his deal, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
And people are saying like maybe in Black Panther, T'Challa might need him.
I was just going to ask you
wakes
guys,
him up.
do you think that the plot of Black Panther is going to be related to them coming for Bucky, or B, do you think, like Pat said, which I also think that's the more likely scenario, is that during the Black Panther movie he's going to need backup.
Yeah.
And Bucky is there.
Yeah.
And they'll give him a new vibranium arm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think what do you think is more likely?
I think it's more likely that.
And Wakanda is where vibranium is from.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the Marvel universe.
Right.
Not
Yeah.
cinematic, but
it's the only place that it is. Yeah, we should make that clear.
Which is why actually Black Panther is the wealthiest person in Marvel, because he's even more wealthy than Tony Stark because of the vibranium.
And also too, let's not undersell his genius. I don't know, in the movie they didn't touch upon it. I don't know if they're gonna really bring it out, but in the comics.
Oh yeah, he's brilliant.
T'Challa is one of the smartest men. He's up there with Reed Richards, Tony Stark, Peter Parker.
Yeah. I think it's more likely that at some point he'll need help from Bucky. I don't think it's going to revolve around somebody coming for Bucky.
Yeah. Like, you think...
I think it's going to be like Black Panther is facing some, Black Panther, like his hero or country related vibranium, some sort of issue like that. And then at one point he might need to wake Bucky up to help him. I don't think I don't think the conflict is going to arise because of Bucky.
Yeah. I was just wondering. What do you think, Connor?
I couldn't even tell you as far as when it comes. We're still talking about the Black Panther as far as what it can be. Like, it's just, I almost like, it's one of those things. Pat knows this. I almost hate guessing because like sometimes we're right, and it's just like, oh wait, I guess I'm not coming. But it could be something totally different. It could be because there are instances where, well, most of the time where Black Panther goes to New York City. He's not always in Wakanda.
Mm-hmm.
They could do something where it's not related, where it's more African related, as far as when it comes to like all the problems that Africa faces today, and trying to relate it towards that. Because I mean, like, and I don't think that's too far from the truth, because especially with the Captain America movies, they've been very relatable into like what we deal with in our time. As far as like when it comes to sending messages, as far as government surveillance, NSA, like how much is too much with government control, like all those themes and all those like ideologies that like make you think. I wonder if they're gonna do that with Black Panther, but more of like setting in Africa.
Yeah.
Whereas like they might need Bucky. He might need Bucky to help him out fight a guy, but I think like I don't want to undersell Marvel because they've really been blowing me away.
Bucky won't be the focus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be that focused, like, because then it'll just be Captain America 4, and I don't want Captain America 4 to be with Black Panther. I want Black Panther movie to be the Black Panther movie, and I would love to have like some sort of like African warlord that has like his country's riddled with AIDS and poverty, and then yet he has this like insane army, but they're not. But the army themselves are like almost like semi super soldiers or something. Like again, that's just a scenario. Like, but have it like the theme, like, oh wow, this is like a real world theme, but with like a comic book setting.
I really want them to bring back Claw. I mean,
yeah, I could see him coming back.
With Claw this time. With the Claw.
With Claw. Yes.
Now that his arm has
Yeah.
been
Not just Andy
torn
Serkis.
off. Right.
Yeah, I
Now
mean,
that his arm has been torn off by Ultron.
having Andy Serkis himself is still pretty good, but to have Claw would be,
It's mostly
great.
because I want Andy
Yeah.
Serkis back.
Oh yeah, undoubtedly. Yeah, I think it's going to be just Black Panther focus. Bucky might come in, and you mentioned Sebastian Stan having 6 more movies on his contract. The other day in LA when Marvel had their movie marathon before this, he said when he first signed on to play Bucky Barnes that Marvel mentioned to him, you know, Bucky adopted the Captain America mantle at one point in the comics. And he's like, how would you guys like that? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if it happened, because Chris Evans' contract is coming up. It ends with the second Avengers movie.
Yeah.
The second Infinity War movie, which they're changing the titles for, which is, a topic for another day. But
Yeah.
But Chris Evans has said he wants to come back. Like, he initially, like, from the start, he didn't want to sign the non-picture deal. And then he's like, yeah, I think I'm just going to, finish it out, and then that's it. But now, I guess because of how good Winter Soldier was and Ultron and then Civil War, like, he's reinvigorated he's reinvigorated and enjoying the character so much more that he'll come back. But he can Chris can stay as Steve Rogers. He can become Commander Steve Rogers or whatever, and have Bucky pick up Captain America shield. And I think it's funny that how there's 3 Captain Americas right now in the cinematic universe.
Yeah, which at the same time though, and again, like, I mean, Pat and I have talked about this before, like, where I like in the context of Miles Morales, where I was like, you need to be able to use the characters that have multiple people that have taken on these identities, like Cap, like Spider-Man, you need to save them for when the actor who's currently playing them ages out of the role or their contract is up and whatever. So the fact that they have Cap, Bucky, and Sam Wilson all in the MCU at the same time, and they're all, I mean, I'm assuming all these actors are relatively the same age. It's
pretty much.
Like, what's going to happen? Like, if Chris Evans decides not to leave after his contract is up, like, what's going to happen when he is too old to play the part?
Mm-hmm.
Bucky's already been, Bucky will be too old, and so will Sam Wilson.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, they have opportunities for that, and it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I mean, again, even if he wants to come back, Cap could die. Chris Evans' character could be killed off in one of the Infinity War movies.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope he's not, because I really enjoy Chris Evans as Captain America.
So do I, but I always thought because of his contract that he was going to be the one the big death.
Yeah, but now that he wants to come back, it could change.
Yeah.
But I think this especially was like as great as he was in Winter Soldier as Captain America. This was like 10 times better.
It was a way more emotional story.
Yeah,
because this time, like, Bucky's in his grasp. Like, he's almost got his friend back.
Yeah,
and now he has to defend him from the
world, pretty much.
The people he most trusted.
Yeah.
And Civil War, it's a friendship movie. It's like, because like the way Steve sees it is like, this is what Bucky would do for me. Like, and Bucky did when Steve Rogers was a scrawny little, looking guy.
Yeah, before he became a
there.
super soldier, he was, helping him out.
Before he was able to stop a helicopter from taking off by
to curl a helicopter.
Oh my god.
Yo, dude, like that, that moment, like it was so badass because you're like, oh, dude, he's like a dude. He's just like, grabbing it. It was such like an Arnold Schwarzenegger moment. And but then like you go online and like every girl's like, I'm not like into like superhero movies, but I like that scene a lot.
Yeah. I think he specifically changed the position of his hand that was holding on to the heliport just so he can show off his bicep even more.
Yeah, he was so swole up in that scene.
Oh, he's stupid jacked.
I could not believe. I was like, no way, is that really him? Like, but it is. Like, it's like, oh my god. Like, he just looked gigantic.
Yeah, just to let you know, it was Chris Evans' face pasted on my body.
Yeah, totally.
I thought those pecs looked familiar.
Yeah.
But that was actually, like, as cool and as funny as that was, like, that scene, it just showed...
It was that funny.
No. It was like a 2 out of 10. It was like, it just showed that how strong Cap really is. Like, normally you see him, like, he's launching people because he's hitting them so hard, but to hold back a helicopter like that with his bare hands is like crazy.
When he came out the gates, like right at the beginning of the movie, like drop kicking people and stuff, I was like, "We're back, man!"
Yeah,
Like we're
launching
back.
a car and shit.
Yeah, it instantly brought me back to the beginning of the ship scene at the beginning of Winter Soldier, and I was,
Yeah.
you know, when he's kicking people off the ship and stuff, and I was just like, dude, this guy is like a specimen,
Yeah.
like literally,
Yeah.
literally.
Do you have any other things you guys want to mention for it?
I don't really have anything else to add.
Wait, but would you recommend the movie?
I mean,
Well, he likes Batman vs Superman, so I don't know.
Yeah, I
hate
don't know
that
how much
movie.
we can trust his opinion.
Yeah, but
no,
yes,
all right.
if
I
mean
hate that movie.
obviously,
I don't want people thinking I actually like that movie.
Connor, nobody that listens to this podcast thinks that you like that movie.
Okay.
Trust me.
All right.
None of us.
I think he might just be putting on a face.
None of the
you
people
know?
that know you.
Yeah. All right. I can't recommend this movie enough. If I had to like,
I mean, if you got to this point, I'm sure you've seen it, and if you haven't and listened to this, just
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
You know, you spoiled it for yourself, but I'm going to see it again.
Definitely.
I'm sure both of you are. I know you are,
Yeah.
Connor.
oh, I'm trying to see it at least 4 times before it gets out of theaters.
Matt's nodding his head. Matt Hoffman's
Hi, Matt.
sitting here next to us. He's nodding his head that he's going to see it. If you've seen it once, fucking go see it again. It's so has a high rewatchability. It's so awesome. It might be, you know, I got to give it one more viewing, and then I'll decide if it's the best Marvel movie. But it's leaning that I'm really leaning that way.
Yeah. I'm on the fence as far as like it, whether because Winter Soldier is like as of right now is still the best Marvel movie in my opinion, but like I have to see Civil War again for me to be like, all right,
Yeah,
because
that's how I'm
Civil War
feeling
is
right
just
now.
so good, like it may change my opinion as far as it being better than Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I mean, like in no particular order, honestly. Like the 5 greatest superhero films of all time, like Dark Knight, Iron Man, Winter Soldier, Avengers 1, and Civil War.
Yeah,
Honestly, I mean, like it's just it's so good.
yeah.
Like it's so good. I just can't believe how good it turned out. I mean, I can, but like,
Yeah. Thank God, man.
yeah.
Like, imagine this bombed.
yeah, there was no way. No
I
way.
mean, there's no way because
There
it's
was-
Marvel, but just like
well, not just because it's Marvel, but
Yeah.
because they have actual artists
they actually know what they're
behind
doing,
the camera who
and people who understand the characters.
Yeah, understand the writers who understand the characters. The audience understands the characters. The directors know how to actually direct a film. The directors know how to get good performances out of their actors. The directors understand the characters and are comic book fans.
Yeah.
Like this was going to be good, and it was.
Yeah. You know what? I thought this was gonna be amazing. I think it might have exceeded my expectations
Yeah.
because I'm like, this is gonna be great, but you know, I wonder how well they're gonna pull this off, and then just blew my mind,
Yeah,
honestly.
it did.
And,
it was great. It's one of the best movies I've seen so far this year.
Yeah, and you know what? It's further proof that the Russos are the right dudes for the job to direct the next 2 Avengers movies, and the writers of this, who also wrote Winter Soldier,
was
are
it
the
Marcus and McFeely again? They've come a long
yes,
way.
it's Marcus and McFeely.
They've come a long
yeah,
way, man.
they have.
They really
they've
have.
written some duds, but like their last 2, I mean, it shows that, and they're going to be writing the next 2 Avengers movies. Those 4 people are perfect.
Yep, just let them
Right now.
keep throwing money at them. Let them do what they want to do.
Right.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, they've hired some great talent to do the other films, like James Gunn,
Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler, who's going to be directing Black Panther, which I
Writing and directing.
like. Oh, yeah, writing and directing, which I'm beyond excited for. Like, I'm so happy he got the job.
the
but yeah.
best
Yeah.
choice for that
Oh yeah,
position.
but yeah, the Russos are the perfect choice to take over for Joss Whedon and like shepherd the MCU into Phase
Yeah.
4.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
Phase 4.
Well, through Phase 3, the rest of Phase 3, and into Phase 4. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, without further ado, do you guys have anything else to add or?
no, I loved it.
I just can't wait to see it
Everybody
again.
should see it.
Go see it. So yeah, guys, that was Awesome Sunday Show. Thanks for listening. Also, remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Also, follow us on Twitter at Awesome Sun Show because Twitter is also really generous with their
Every
characters.
single time.
Because I can't put Sunday. It's so annoying. I want to put day there. But if you want to follow our personal Twitter accounts, Delia, what's your personal Twitter account?
I'm at APD1026.
I am at Less Than Connor. No one cares about Pat. No, I'm just kidding. Pat, what's your Twitter?
At Rick Pat Mick.
Yeah. So if you want to see me and Pat argue on Twitter, follow us. And if you want to see Delia and his smart inputs on Twitter, follow him. Also follow Matt Hoffman on Twitter. Matt, what's your Twitter handle? At Matt_Hoff. I'll probably say it in the couch review episode. But yeah, thanks for listening. Remember, like, share, comment, subscribe on iTunes, Podbean, and also on YouTube. Tell your friends. Share on Facebook. all that jazz.
Let us
Have a
know
great
what you
Sunday.
thought of the movie.
Yeah, and let us know what you thought of the movie. I don't care what you thought about the movie. Pat does, though.
I mean, I care about your contributions, but, I enjoyed the movie, so whatever you say doesn't really matter
Yeah.
at this point. All right, guys. Have a great Sunday.
Peace.
Wow.